Okay, let's build on what we just covered about setting up our template and stencil paths to take advantage of stencils and templates we create. And let's create a template that will be used for some work we're going to do over the course of the next few lessons to create some documentation for the MedMind migration. So I've opened up our team site we're using for the Agile template, and I'm going to open up an existing Visio that I know you guys have seen. Going to go ahead and open it up in Visio directly. And as I mentioned, you can take an existing drawing and save it as a template. So I'm going to go File, Save As, Browse to my Templates folder. And I've already got a folder in place called BD. And let's call this Azure DevOps Workflow States, Reasons, Rules, and UI. Doesn't really matter what we call it. We're going to save it as type template. Click Save. File. Close it. Actually, I should have left it open. That was silly. But let me go ahead and show you. In addition to opening drawings, you can open up a template directly. So you notice in this folder there's some VSSX files, which are stencils, and the template we just created. So Visio doesn't really care what you're opening, and you notice here the extension is VSTX. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click down here on the work items types, and I'm going to rename the page work item types. And I'm just going to call it XXX. And we'll just leave this for now. We'll come back to this. STS Agile levels, I don't think we need that. We may, but we'll just get rid of it for now. And then I'm going to get rid of all these other pages. You can actually, I don't know, is there a way? Yeah, you can only really delete them one at a time. So if you right click, delete page, delete page. So I'm going to show you something that we'll cover in a future lesson, but if you want to delete a bunch of pages, you can certainly right click and delete them one at a time, and there may be a way of actually doing it in bulk from Visio itself. But in the support tools Visio add-on that we'll cover over time, there's this delete pages button. And so what you can do is you can create a table of contents and basically remove the pages you want to keep. So we want to keep that, but I don't think we want any of these. And let's just real quickly go see what UI layout options is. Yeah, we might want to keep that. So we don't want user stories. So we'll go back to the table of contents, and I'm just holding down the control key, and the template has a little link point here, T, to navigate to the table of contents, which for some reason is not working. That's horrible. So we'll just go to table of contents, and then if you click on delete pages, what it does is it looks at all the shapes on the page, grabs the text from the shape, and then deletes the pages with those names. So now you'll notice that all those pages that are on table of contents are gone. It doesn't matter what the name of the page is, it's just it looks for shapes on the page and it gets the text. So that's a quick way of clearing out a document. So if I create the table of contents again, it's just got the pages in our template. So now we have a template that has a list of work item types, and this is really where we're going to change things. It's got some navigation links, and the navigation links, which we'll cover in a separate thing, point back to the different pages. It's got a page base, and we should probably change this to be name of template. And because work item types page, we go to page setup, uses page base as its background. That's why we're getting name of template on the page. And now if we click save again, since we've opened up the template, we're just going to click save. And now I'm going to close it. And now finally we're going to start. So we're going to go file. That's my cat in the background. Hi, Nelly. File, new. Where did it go? Looks like we may have to close Visio. Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. It's in the BD folder. And so if we click on Azure DevOps Workflow, open it up, and there we've got our starting point. So now we're going to go File, Save As, and I'm just going to put it on my local machine. Probably should have put it out on the team site. Maybe we'll set something up. So in a folder called MedMind, I'm going to call this the MedMind MedMind TFS 2013 template. Actually, let's call it this MedMind TFS 2013 work items, fields, states, and reasons. And we're going to save it as a Visio drawing. So now we have a starting point. So now, assuming we know which work item types MedMind has, and so we'll go to the page base here, and we're going to call this MedMind Team Project. We can change the name later. So that page base being linked to this page is updated down here. So now let's just assume they've got a bug work item. So what I've done previously is from the page shapes stencil. There's a few shapes that I use on a regular basis to create pages and do things that are related to pages, hence page shapes. And so bug is an example of a page link rounded. So it's got data behind it. It asks you for the name of the page. And so I'm just going to show you. You can type in bug. And I won't go into too much detail here, but it tells, it provides some information that tells you how to get back to where you are. So it says from the page shapes VSSX stencil, use the page link arrow left. So if you wanted to use a different shape, you could use that as the return link on the page. Return link page, what does that mean? So I'm going to click OK. And you notice down here we do not have a bug page. But if we go to this shape and we right click and we say create page for shape, a new page called bug is created. A 18-point header shape is automatically dragged on for us. That's up here. And this shape has some behavior in it that when you rename the page, it automatically updates this shape. And it's also put a return link back to the page we were on when we created the shape. So I'm going to hold down the control key and left click on the shape, and now we're back here. So I took a shape, dragged it on. Shape has some behavior. I provided some data, and we are able to quickly create a bug page. So imagine that we can get the list of work item types from the MedMine collection, MedMine team project. We'll create one page for each of the work item types they have, and then we'll start populating that. So we're going to go back to bug, and imagine here we'll have a state and reason workflow. So if we go to more shapes, and I think I've got this under Azure. Nope, not under Azure. Napkin making, Azure DevOps. There we go. So there's a shape I've created called state rectangle. We'll just drag that on. And it asks you for the name of the state. Not knowing any better, we'll say new. And these do not have any behavior, so it just lets you pick the name of the state and do some stuff with size. And from there, we'll stub out the workflow, and then we'll use some other Visio things to create the reasons, the reason transitions and the reasons you can make that transition. Okay, let's do a quick little pause on Visio for a second, and let's go find out some information on the MedMind collection. So without really going into all the details of how this works, we're going to open up Excel, click on Support Tools, click on Azure DevOps TFS. This screen comes up. We're going to go pick TFS, load the collections, pick the MedMine collection, and then we're going to open up options, team projects, pick the MedMine team project, which is the only one, according to Andy, that matters. We're going to go down to team project actions, and in the work item section, we're going to pick work item types, and we're going to get team project info. So it's opened up the MedMine team project, and it's showing us the work item types, and you'll notice here they have these work item types. So these are the work item types that we're going to want to document in Visio. And if you look here in the transition column, column H, it shows the different transitions. It puts an asterisk by the default. It puts below the required fields. So going from active to closing is the default reason, rejected is another reason. So this will be the information that we'll use to produce the state and reason code diagrams in Visio.